All right, welcome today. Today we'll be talking under my rural development series. We'll be talking about planning, implementation, and appraisal in rural development. All right. At the end of this session, we're expecting that every student should be able to discuss the meaning of planning or plan, describe the element of planning, discuss rural development planning, and describe implementation and appraisal. Now, anyone who does not plan is planning to fail. Effective implementation is as a result of good planning. During and after implementation, appraisal is needed to determine whether the objectives have been achieved or not. So, what's the meaning of plan? Plan, according to scholars, is a statement of how a thing is to be done. It is a process of determining the course of action that is necessary to be taken in the pursuit of a particular goal or achievement of an objective. It is a written document setting out the activities, times, and budgets required to meet a set of goals. Plans provide a rational approach to achieving pre-selected objectives. They direct the effort of all concerned towards the achievement or achieving the goals. So, one of the things you will notice is that a plan is not a plan if it is not pointing you into the achievement of something. So, anytime you move up, probably you're going to the market, probably you're going to attend to your academic pursuit. That intention is a plan. You want to pass, you want to purchase something, you want to travel. That is a plan. Now, how do you go about it? That statement or that written statement or that written document that specifies that you should do this, do this, do this for you to achieve this, it's the plan. Now, what are the elements of planning? Planning of rural development is very significant. It could make or mar the success of the rural developer. A carefully planned rural development action has the tendency of achieving stated objective at the end. That is, if it's carefully planned. Everything put into consideration. This is the primary stage that that needs expert ideas and extreme care at this stage of planning. It could be a long-term plan, it could be a short-term plan, depending on the nature of the rural development program involved, the target group involved, and the set of objectives that you need to achieve. In planning rural development projects generally, the following elements should not escape the minds of the planner. One, programs should be based on existing rural conditions of the target group. Programs should address the felt need of the people. Existing cultural practices of the people should be considered. You see, once you neglect to consider the cultural practice of the people, you risk rejection. Such program risk rejection because the culture of the people is the way of life of the people. And once it is not considered, such program, however germane or good intention it is, may be rejected. The first is that the experience of well-trained agents and professionals should be utilized because they have something to bring onto the table. Local leaders in the area should be recognized and consulted. Most times, they are opinion leaders. Their opinion, their actions stir others to accept the program and participate. The sixth is that there should be collective efforts of all relevant people in the area. All stakeholders should be engaged and their effort used to achieve the program. There should be a well planned educational or sensitization program for the people as a necessity for collaboration. They need to know what is happening. Where do they come in? Who and who is involved? Once these are done, you almost have a guarantee that the program may be executed properly. This is part of the plan. Now, the eighth is that basic needs of the people should be carefully assessed. If you don't have a proper need assessment, you will not be solving actual needs. You just be solving your own imagined need. Goals and objectives of the program should be carefully determined. And number 10, local resources of the people should be assessed and utilized as much as possible. There, you give them a whole lot of a lot of sense of belonging and all that. So these are the elements of planning. Now, rural development project plans and implementation and appraisal. In planning rural development implementation, these stages are involved. Number one, need assessment. Number two, objectives selection. That is objective of your program. Number three, prioritizing the objective. You've highlighted a whole lot of objective. Now prioritize them. Most important one first, then the next, and so on. Then the next is determining the resources required. Number four, program design. You now design the program, putting participants, allocating resources, and all that. Then you have program implementation, the actual execution of the program. And then, having executed the program, you go into program evaluation, which is the part where you appraise what you have done so far. Now, let's throw more light on these stages in bits. The first is need assessment. This is the first stage of the rural development plan. It involves identifying the felt need of the target groups. Here, the planner tries to sort out the real needs and or problems of the rural community. Okay, such needs or problem could be tangible or intangible. All right, so intangible and tangible problems are the ones that are visible to the eyes. So problems like bad road, poor health services, poor school facilities, poor health and lack of water, poor residential area. These are tangible projects, you could see them. While intangible project problems in the area are those ones you cannot see with your eyes. So you can see have a problem of exploitation of tenants by landlords, having issues between people in the community, people to people community issues, human resource problems, middlemen and farmers issues. These are all problems. So, in other words, the planner could know the needs of the people with the use of a questionnaire. You can use a questionnaire to find these things are both tangible and intangible. You can also use an interview, call people up, targeted groups, and then interview them. You could also use observation. You can walk around and see it with your eyes by observation. Then you can use focus group discussion. These are tools with which you can extract both tangible and intangible problem, and that way have a robust need assessment of the target group. So a research expert could be used if you can't do it yourself as a rural developer. Engage a research expert, and it could be used to find out and assess such needs. The second stage is objective selection. Once the need of the people have been isolated and gotten, the objective is the next. Now, the objective could be it could be to achieve basic literacy, functional literacy, secondary education. Objectives are not wisely set. If objectives are not wisely set, the program may not be result oriented. The third stage is prioritizing objective. Now you've chosen objective. We listed objective now. Now you now list them and then prioritize the most important one. The set objective in set two in stage two have to be carefully arranged with expert ideas and the nature of the rural needs or problem of the at hand. The planner of the rural development program should arrange this objective in a logical order or according to priority, depending on how pressing a particular problem or need is. Now, how do you get to assess this or come to that conclusion? You ask yourself a simple question: what objective is to be achieved first, and which is to be last? Should a particular objective be achieved simultaneously with others? All these are for you to determine which one to prioritize and which not to prioritize. The next stage is determining resources. Now, here you have to set and prioritize. After you have set and prioritized your objective, you have to determine the appropriate resources needed to achieve that on the objective that you have set. Consideration should be made or given to quantity and quality of the resources that you need. Such resources could be human resource, could be material resource. You also have to take note of that. Now, human resource could be expert in relevant disciplines whose services are quite indispensable to the success of the program. And while material resources could be money, construction materials, could be um, equipment, as the case may be. Now, the fifth is the program design. Now, having sorted out the resource area, you now go into design. Now, you design how the resources will be put to use and when. The date of particular activities are earmarked. Duties and functions of professionals are clearly spelled out under this program design. Now, the next will be program implementation. At this stage, this is where action has to be taken. The materials, the human resources are put to use. It is the actual takeoff stage. What has been designed in stage 5 is carried out. That is the actual commencement of activity to address the problems of the rural community. Now, the seventh stage is the evaluation stage. Evaluation is the process of determining the extent to which stated objectives have been achieved. At this stage, the planner pauses, he takes his time, he relaxes a bit, and takes stock of how much has been achieved in relation to the stated objective. Evaluation could be formative and summative. Formative is an ongoing evaluation, and summative is the end of project evaluation. Now, look at a planning process starts from need assessment. There's a diagram to show it. You see there's an arrow from you can use a diagram to represent the planning process. Number one is need assessment at the top. The next is objective selection. The next is prioritizing your objective. The next is determining the resources to be used. The next is program design. The next is program implementation. Then you have evaluation. And then you start again. You evaluate your need again and you go down to objective. This is how the planning process goes. Remember, it's a process, it does not stop. You keep planning and keep going in that cyclical manner. Today, we've talked about the planning or the meaning of planning with particular reference to rural development plan and elements of a plan. We also talked about all the stages involved in rural development planning, implementation, and appraisal. All right. Thank you for listening. I look forward to seeing you in my next class. In that session, attention will be on how rural development projects are financed. Thank you.